Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you these really fun paper clips. These are different from anything I've done before, and I love them. So I want to show you how I did these and what I'm using and what you would need. You need some images. I'm using a 1-inch circle punch. This is a silicone mold that is meant for making those wax seals. So it's very shallow, but it's just what I need. And I am using some UV resin by Let's Resin. I'm using the clear soft type. You don't have to. And then I'm using the paperclip backs, which I call paperclip banks, some Power Tack, and of course, with the UV resin, I'm using the UV light. So let's get started. So hello everyone, my name is Lolly. Welcome to my channel. I run a paperclip art group on Facebook, and every month we have a theme. November's theme was an activity that you love doing, and believe it or not, I like shoveling snow, and I like snow. I like shoveling it. One of the reasons is it's exercise and keeps me healthy, but also I just love the look of sparkly snow. And I love making paper clips, and I love crafting, so all that together came out to these really fun paper clips. So I'm going to put these here and show you how to get cracking on these. So I'm going to just grab a design here. This is from a purchase that I made on Etsy, and actually it was advertised as 2-inch circles. But because it was 2 inches, that's why I bought it for a specific project. And then it ended up that they weren't 2 inches, even though I print actual size. So they're just adorable as can be. So I love that these are shaped like this. And because the image is only an inch, it gives all this clear background. So you could see right through that. And just, I love it. Okay, so all we're going to do, super easy, we're going to put this down there. You will notice that as you're pouring resin in, these will move around and float, or not float, but they'll move around and slide. So don't worry about it. We're just going to use the pokey tool to get that moved over. And although I can clean this glass mat, if it's something like resin, I prefer to have Teflon or silicone under that. So I'm going to get these, and I'm going to get gloves on. Now when you're cleaning up your UV resin, you can just use your rubbing alcohol to clean up any messes and clean up your pokey tool and all that. These are really long gloves. I feel like I feel like I'm putting on those satin evening gloves. Okay, so let's get this out. And I never did put the fine tip on this, but it's okay because I really haven't needed it. So I'm just going to put enough in there. It doesn't have to come all the way up to the top, but just so you know, resin will seep under the image, and I'll show you what we're going to do about that. So it's not a major concern. So I'm just going to pour, and as I pour slowly, I'm also going to make sure that I get into, I'm going to pour some in here when I think that might be enough, and scrape that lip and just push it into these little crevices, because you can see this has the shape here. I just want to push it in there to make sure I get in all those little protrusions there. Now, if you have a lot of bubbles, you can heat treat them, but be careful because you can also melt your silicone. Then look over it and see if you've got it centered, and if not, just slide it where you want it. Just a pinch. Now this one. Now keep in mind that with UV resin, the UV light has to get to the resin. So if I were, for instance, to just sprinkle glitter all over the top of this, some of that would probably prevent the resin from the UV light from actually reaching to the resin, and it could stay wet and gooey underneath. Just a heads up. So in addition to centering this, you can also spin it around the direction you need. And there is no rush at all to clean up, because I can just wait until the very end. Now with this, I can see that it's saturating my image, and it's making it more translucent. which again is okay. And I like to put this back in the box and put it under my table right away so it's out of the light. And now what I'm going to do is get my UV light out, and I have press and seal over this so that I don't get my gooey fingers all over it. Okay, it's on. Now I'm going to do this for 3 minutes. So this particular one, what it does is it does 60 seconds 3 times. But this brand, J Diction, has come out. The new one is better than this one. The legs do fold under so that you can fold it flat and you can put it away and store it that way. And I put this there just so I'm not getting that UV light kind of in my eyes. So let's talk about the Facebook group. It's a group for creativity. We do have a theme every month, and let's bring this out for something to look at. We have a theme every month. So like I said, November's was an activity that you love, and I'm just behind in getting my paper clips done. And so this time I did 3 of these, and instead of making a paper clip out of this one, I punched a hole in it and ran a chain through it, and it's going to make a really adorable charm. So look at that. Isn't that cute? Very adorable. Now I will also, underneath, I'm going to give you a link to the group, to all my paperclip videos, and to these images here, which were from the Etsy seller. Like I said, they are adorable. They're all vintage, and I love the soft colors. Normally I like a real pop of color, but you can see what I did here and just use a real muted organza ribbon there. I think it's perfect. So we're going to fast forward to when the 3 minutes are up. So that is up, and I am so sorry. I forgot that when this is being filmed, these numbers flash on the video, and it looks really bad, but they don't flash in real life. So the thing I do is I usually, by now, I just touch the very edge. And keep in mind that with the soft UV resin, it can feel a little gummy, almost like gummy bears. So I'm going to turn it over and pop that out of there. But remember how I said that the UV was going to run underneath the image? You could probably see the shine here. That's because it did run under, but the paper images prevented the UV light from getting through to the bottom. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put this on there and do the backs of these for 3 minutes. And then you could take alcohol to this and clean that up. When you turn this over, this paper clip blank covers the raw parts of the paper where there was no UV resin. But to make a charm, what I did was I just took the UV resin again and I just covered the area of the paper. It's almost like a slightly domed area. I just put a little bit of resin there, put it back in, and baked it for 3 more minutes. And it's not really baking. That's just my silly way of calling it. It's curing it, not baking it. So we're just going to use some rubbing alcohol and get that off the pokey tool and use the rubbing alcohol and clean these up. Another thing you could do is just to go ahead and cure it with your light or in the sunlight. And then that would harden the resin that's in here, and from there you could just pop it out again. So very convenient. This side works too, but I just like the really fun shapes for that. And when it's done, I'm going to use the Deco Color Premium paint marker. These are wonderful, and I just took it and I just ran it around the edge, the top edge of my project here. And that to me really made it pop. I just think that is so pretty. Okay, that is done. I'm going to unplug. I'm going to fold the feet under it so it can be folded for storage. You see how easily that folds up. So the backs are cured. I'm going to take the gold marker. You shake it up. And then this is the chisel tip. I think it's easier for edging. You get it primed, and then I am coming at it at an angle and just going around. So this marker is by Marvi Ushida. It depends on your angle. as to how that's going to look. While those are kind of drying a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and get these 2 ribbon pieces. And what I do is I just hold the ends like this, and I make 2 loops and then put 1 loop over the other and through that hole. And then you have to adjust. It does end up with a little bit of excess that needs to be trimmed off, but it's not bad. There's 1. And now for the paperclip blanks. So when we have these, you just poke this single loop through the back. I do have these in my shop, and that clicks into place. Have to use that. So with Beacon Power Attack, this is a good permanent glue, and it's great for items like this, where we're dealing with plastic and metal and various materials like that instead of paper. So I'm going to pick this up and lay that on there. And then 1 little dab here for the bow. And that's it. You set that aside for 20 minutes, and then that helps it to be something that you can actually touch and move around. But it won't be full permanency for 24 hours. So this is for the last one. We will put that aside for now. And make sure you look at the links down below. I'm giving you a supplies list. And oh my gosh, how fun these are. I might even just turn that one into a charm. I could still put a bow on it. I could put a bow on this one. Even the charm, it's okay. I just think these are adorable. Look how fun they are. And because I use the soft UV resin, like I said, it's very flexible like a gummy. I love it. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. They're cute, they're unique, they don't even look homemade. Thank you everyone for creating with me. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.